Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Pattison Ave Phanatics Show. I'm your host, Tom Kelly. Top of the evening to you, and happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody out there. With me, as always, my man, Alan Andrew Cavitt.
Welcome. Thank you, Tom. Love to be here.
And a special guest joining us right now for the first half of the show, my man, Gayle Saunders at Eagles Session. Gayle from the 4th and Jawn Show. What's up, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. I mean, we are Super Bowl champions.
Last time I checked.
Yes, we are.
First and foremost, and the Eagle fans, relax. How's got this?
Okay, good.
Yes.
So you've already answered 4.5 of the questions that I was going to ask you with that statement right there. in not so many words. So we were talking about right before we jumped on the show some of the traveling you've done, and Alan was wondering what is some of the traveling you've been doing following this team this past season?
Yeah, I mean, it started in Brazil, and it was like there was this kind of shout out to Philly Sports Trips who
Vince.
I hear they're amazing.
Vince Rizzuto, great guy. Philly Sports Trips. You definitely go check them out. Anybody that's out there.
So when he was like the opportunity to go to Brazil to start the season off with a bang, I was like, I believed in this team wholeheartedly as a Super Bowl champion from the very beginning, and I was like, it would be so great to watch the very beginning of the season in Brazil.
Absolutely.
Combine two things I love. I've always wanted to go to Brazil. Eagles. It was an amazing experience. But went all over the place this year.
Nice. Well, Philly Sports Trips literally makes it about as effortless as you could possibly be for just a fan that wants to travel with the team.
Yeah.
Fooch, what's up, my brother? You said late, but you were darn near on time, my man.
What's up, everybody? Hey, Gayle, thanks for coming on finally.
Hey, yeah, we finally made it happen, man.
Yeah, I know.
Like the Super Bowl, the second Super Bowl. We made it happen. We're here. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too. Hey, welcome. Yeah, appreciate you taking your time. I know you had your show on earlier.
So this is, I'm going straight 3 hours. Let's do it.
Oh man, I'd love it.
I do this.
I know you are to call you a sneakerhead would be a ridiculous, drastic understatement. And the collection behind you is I'm seeing Jay's up there.
It goes on. They're everywhere. But
you've created custom Eagles footwear yourself, right? Isn't that something that you dabble in?
Yeah, I mean, I've made some for some players. I make anything for if you want Phillies customs. These are just a little something. I mean, I do a little everything. You just
there you go. I like those. I like those.
And I make. And just a lot of. It's just like a ridiculous. So I'm pretty much that's like my hobby.
I've seen a couple of videos. Then you do some like time lapsed videos and stuff of you doing the shoes, if I remember correctly.
There's a couple, man. I can't do them as much because the more I put out, the more people ask. So I'm getting.
What a bad problem to have.
The last person that got the shoes, they like waited a year for them. I was like, my bad.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So, but I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, I love it. Combines my love for the Eagles, Philadelphia sports. It's a good time. It's therapeutic as well.
Call
me a sneaker fanatic.
Yeah, sneaker fanatic. It is. With a PH like us.
Yeah.
So I was explaining to some of the guys the week before the Super Bowl back in 2018. At your show, I reached out to E-Rock, and you guys were nice enough to allow me to come sit in New Media Studios up in Trevose at the time.
Yeah.
So we're going back a ways.
Throwback.
And when he said I almost didn't believe it. And then you guys, I'm just trying to give people a little backstory here. You guys allowed me to come sit in. Had a couple other guys sitting in studio. And you were like, "Be ready. We might bring you up and talk on the mic." I was like, "Well, never afraid to talk, so that's fine by me." Lo and behold, a little while later, we end up at the same podcast company at Wildfire Radio.
Yeah,
and that was a good time. That was kind of cool, chopping it up with the Christmas party and stuff like that. And all these years later, 4th and Jawn still going strong. How is everything in the 4th and Jawn world?
I mean, it's great. I mean, it's it's amazing to meet all the people over the years. I think that's the best experience, whether meeting you guys, I mean, hanging out with Mike at a Fox 29 pep rally. There's so many different experiences.
About that pep rally. Not sure if it was your first time or your however many times. How was it to meet Alex Holly?
I mean, they're cool. I mean, they're just regular, everyday people. They just have insane amounts of energy in the morning, like I do.
Right.
I mean, it's a great time.
You notice I didn't ask about Mike, though, right?
Nobody cares about Mike. No offense, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, Gayle, I want to, thank you again for, inviting me on. I mean, it was a great time, just meeting the whole Fox 29 cast.
That's awesome.
I think it's cool thing about it. It's just the experience. Like the thing with 4th and Jawn, it's always been about bringing people together, whether it's our tailgates or like really trying to get people out to events or like show up to the draft or like show up to the Super Bowl parade at 3:00 in the morning. We actually do this. We're not like, I call myself I have an analyst background, but I'm a fan first. So I call myself a fanalist.
That's
so
I
love that.
I can give you, whatever it is you want to talk about the Eagles, but I can do it from a fan's perspective as well. But meeting diehard Eagle fans is probably the most inspiring thing over the last 8 years.
And
I've done.
Love it. Love that.
My what's fun for me is my Facebook feed is a collage of some of the world's greatest Eagles fans that I've ever met, from Sean from the Dirty 30 to the Philly Sports Guy to you guys to E-Rock to all these different people. And like you said, it's just I've had the chance to meet all these people, and you get to know the person behind the fan, and then you start seeing people out. Like 2 years ago, the Super Bowl that we lost, I actually was at the one pep rally with you down at Chicky and Pete's. You and I were the first two, I think, to get there.
Yeah.
So it's
a wild ride, though. I mean, it's cool to see everyone's passion, especially when you're traveling all over the country, world, and seeing like Eagle fans that that are from Delco in Brazil, and we're just like randomly, I had a couple friends that had their Delco flag, and we're in the beaches of Rio, and you're like, how the hell, I jumped off a cliff in Brazil. I was feeling the vibes. I mean, it was that. But this whole season has been like a storyline. I really just been, it's been up and down, but it's been a great ride. And now that we've seen another Super Bowl, I think us as Eagle fans, we know what to expect from a champion and what to look out for in a champion, and also what we can expect from our GM as we move forward. We know what he knows. He knows the plan. So,
and how we trust.
I was going to say, with that said, what do you think about the signing today? I don't want to mispronounce his name, but his name.
Azeez Ojulari. Yep.
Yes. What do you think of that signing today?
It's funny because we were talking about this move a couple weeks ago, and my friend Marcus, he coached him in high school. So this move I was kind of like waiting for. Spoke with a lot of my Giant friends just to get a lay of the land a couple weeks ago, just like where is he at? The problem was he was injured, but they love the player.
Yeah, past couple of years though, right? He's had a little injury problem, but if we can keep him healthy, and he comes into Nick Fangio's defense, I think he could definitely be a fit. I think, right?
Yeah, I was trying to I was making the comparison of like Wu-Tang, this thing. They're trying to get different. They're diversifying their edges right now. So you have you got all these different styles of edges that you're bringing in, but most importantly, you're balling on a budget here. You have the 1 year deal projects in terms of Josh Uche from the Chiefs, but before that with the Patriots, they had the joint practice. And a lot of Eagle fans have asked for Uche as well, but you're talking about 1.75 for Uche, $4 million for Ojulari. I don't know if you guys saw what Sweat is making, but it's like the way that he's winning, he's balling on a budget and 1-year projects, prove it deals. This is where you're at. I mean, this is if you've watched any of the Chiefs Super Bowl runs, they have followed the same trend. Sometimes you have to get rid of Tyreek Hill or Snead at cornerback to keep on being competitive. But I like the move for real.
So kind of observing this all season so far, it looks like you're going to, with another new offensive coordinator, it was almost inevitable that the defensive side of the ball, because I don't know about you, Gayle, but I feel like the Eagles have supreme confidence in Vic Fangio and his coaching abilities, obviously with what he did with the defense this year. But it was almost like you knew the defensive side of the ball was going to take its hits because, you think Vic could probably do more with less than a new OC coming in. Would you kind of think in that same regard?
Yeah, I think Vic knows what he wants. And the fact that he knew that he wanted Zach Bond. He knew that Devin White was not in the picture. Eagle fans are like, what do you mean Devin White's not going to work out. We're going to go with Bond. Who's this guy? I mean, the fact that I just feel like I spoke to Bond and the way that he was so humble, and he's like, even how he didn't expect this, I didn't even expect this. But I think what Fangio did expect is, him coming from Jim Leonard style defense at Wisconsin. Like, people don't realize he made Van Ginkel from made him some money. He played in his defense, went off to the Vikings, got paid. Where Van Ginkel went? He went to Wisconsin, played under Jim Leonard. Who's next in line? Zach Bond. He knew what he had in the tank, and I spoke to Bond about that Leonard style defense and him learning from Fangio, and he knows what he wants. So I feel like it's really about getting his pieces in place, and we still have the draft to come. So there's still will be more pieces to be added.
Gayle, as far as the free agents that Howie brought in, is there anybody that stands out in your opinion as of right now?
As a free agent that we should pick up, I'm looking at Justin Simmons because I feel like he knows the book of Fangio. He has a good relationship with Fangio and Christian Parker with their time in Denver. Christian Parker is a guy who, Justin Reed just spoke about him recently about his potential signing with the Eagles, but he chose the Saints. But they all have a great relationship with Parker as well. He's not to be forgotten. But I think Justin Simmons speaks the book of Fangio. When we're talking about a defense that it's a lot of communication. Like, you're seeing players, once they realize where their help's at, you can freelance in this defense if you're smart. And I really feel like a guy on the back end with some range doesn't hurt.
Right. Yeah. How about as far as the current free agents and how we brought in? Is there anybody there that you see?
Like, if I'm thinking about this back end, Sydney, could this be Sidney Brown season if we're looking at our own team in general? Like, he's a guy that I actually had the Eagles. He was one of my guys. So the fact that the Eagles got one of my guys, I'm like, he's followed kind of like my plan, make his mark on special teams. I think the ACL took him back a notch.
Yes.
Like, coming back from the ACL, it usually takes about a year or so. But I do believe, can we get him playing like Bob Sanders in the early 2000s? I feel like he's got something to give, but I really feel like he has to tone his game down and just really, I always call Reed Blankenship like the protractor. The angles are there. He he's gotta learn the game and learn the speed of the game as a full-time starter out there. But
Sidney Brown definitely likes to put his body on the line. He likes to hit you. He likes to smack you. So yeah, I understand the angles what you're talking about. So yes, if he can hit you at the yes, if he can learn the ways, Yes.
And wrapping up too, man. He's he's a guy I saw down at the Senior Bowl. I seen him do reps against Tank Dell in the slot, and I was like if he could hang with Tank Dell, I was like, okay, and not that I wanted him his rookie year to be in the slot versus CD Lamb. I was like, what are you guys doing on the
right?
Like what we had those
it's
guys
too much
doing,
pressure.
His rookie year was ridiculous. I mean, we had 2 defensive coordinators, but it was a mess then. But I do feel like I think Fangio has a role for him.
Cool. Awesome.
What are your thoughts on the Lane Johnson extension? I mean, is he just house money at this point? Like
Lane is. I mean, you talk about a 2-time Super Bowl champ. There's only
that sounds so good.
Doesn't it?
I'm like we're 2-time champs, but like Eagle players, there's only a couple of them. There's like Brandon Graham,
Jake Elliott, Lane Johnson,
and Rick Lovato. Everyone forgets
Lovato.
Oh my God, Lovato!
No, you can't.
Do you forget, dude? That's the one that's the name you always forget about, though.
Lovato. Like I always use that as my real one alert. So if someone
there you go,
that, you're like But I do think it's just it's crazy right now. I mean, what was your question again?
Well, when I first seen the news, the story pop up, and I seen his name, I'm like, did they move money around? Did he?
Oh, right.
Did he do it again with Lane? But no, I mean the signing essentially is Lane like anytime? Is he here until he wants to leave?
I think so. I always feel like his contract. I mean, Howie will always select a few contracts where he can always re-up, move money around. I think the Jordan Malatas, the Brandon Graham, the Fletcher Cox, the Jason Kelce's. He's going to find that contract that he's going to keep on reworking to gain more money and push him down the road. But he got himself $40 million guaranteed for the next couple of years. So I think he's earned it. I think he's a guy that if any offensive lineman in our group as a role model, as a guy who battled some things, injuries, but also mental stuff. But just he's been one of the Chip Kelly signings that has been legendary.
When Chip Kelly signed him, I was like, okay, Chip, you can keep your job. And then the Chip Kelly era went on. I was like, we need to get rid of this guy as quickly as possible. He is destroying everything that we have done.
So
even Stoutland come in? Stoutland came in under the Chip
Stoutland did
Kelly era too.
Yeah.
So for anyone that knows,
I'm sorry. Then that's the only good thing Chip Kelly did.
For anyone that knows me, that not only am I an insane Eagles fan, but I'm a huge Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan as well. And at the time when Chip Kelly got hired to the Eagles, Brian Kelly was coaching the Irish, so I used to call him Uncle Brian and Uncle Chip. And Uncle Chip and Uncle Brian both let me down in the end. So, damn Kellys.
Yeah, my high school teammate, he actually coached with Chip Kelly at New Hampshire. He was the best man in his wedding.
Really?
Yeah, so it was kind of like he was ended up coaching at University of Delaware. His name's Sean Devine, and he was potentially going to coach for the Eagles. I was like, oh, there's my in.
Yes, sir.
It never happened. So, but always wanted to ask him some questions, but never got that opportunity.
Well, that would have been some. Any kind of in that organization would be huge for folks like us. Now, can this AJ Dillon, Saquon Barkley backfield? I don't know if you're. I'm 43, Gayle. I don't know exactly how old you are. Yeah. I don't know if you're around my age or not.
Older.
Okay, so then you remember the Ricky Waters and
for what?
Charlie
Gardner. Those days. Do you think this can kind of is this 1-2 punch? Like, is AJ Dillon just on the other side and they're just bringing him in for running back depth, or can it really bolster, the back end of that running back room?
I think so, man. I think I'm giving them the nickname Quad Squad. And the funny thing is about it is it's so weird how things work because AJ Dillon is from my hometown, and I actually know his family well. I know AJ. It was funny. We had went on a vacation. My best friend, we got married in St. Martin, so the whole Dillon family was there, and
Wow.
it was fun. It was just funny. Him see, and his mom was the maid of honor. I was the best man. So I've known of AJ for a long time. Just to see him, I had a different mindset. Didn't go to the normal. He could have been the man at our local high school. Ended up going to like a boarding school where he just really just was prepping himself for the next level. Like it was weird because it's like normal kids are just like, I'm going to go to high school, go the normal route.
Mm-hmm.
He went to his boarding school in it was away. Like he lived on campus, ended up dominating and then going to Boston College. And then he turned down Jim Harbaugh from Michigan, had a full ride ready. He wanted to show local kids in Connecticut and New England that you could stay in Boston College and make it. So talk about a guy who's just been determined since a kid.
Wow.
Just he's built different, and the funny thing is just seeing him do it, making it. It comes from a really good family, but I feel like adding him into the mix. You talk about short yardage game is going to be insane. We're talking about 2 yards after contact. We were averaging last year with Saquon. Now you get 2 yards with AJ Dillon. That's easy yardage with those guys in the mix.
So it's almost like they're prepping for that tush push to be out of here.
Tush push is going to be insane.
Right.
I mean, you might even not have to tush push with AJ Dillon in the mix.
Yeah, I was going to say, can AJ Dillon fill in the role that Kenny Gainwell took, or are they going to have to rely more on Fuji's guy, Will Shipley? Did I get the name right this time? Did I finally get it right? Will Shipley?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I sometimes I call him I always call him Swartley for some stupid reason. I'm glad I got it right this time.
AQ Shipley. If anybody remembers that.
Yeah, of course.
Center of Penn State.
Yep. I spoke with Coach Singleton about Shipley. Very excited about what he brings to the table. And give you that, you get all the people who Gainwell was a player he was your 2-down back. He was a special team player. He was a juice guy. He can give you some juice here and there.
Yep.
For a 5th round pick. And I don't know what, like a lot of people were like downplaying Gainwell's role. He had a role, man. And
he did.
He played well.
And I liked it. Yeah.
He's a guy on kickoffs that would make tackles and get down there and scrap. And then I just think Shipley has got a chance to take that. I think if you want to draft some backs on day 3, I would definitely look there just to add something in the mix. But I do think AJ Dillon is more of he can catch some screens here and there, some swing routes, but it's not like there's not close to Gainwell. Gainwell's also former wide receiver at Memphis. Right. So I think, Shipley will definitely have that role, have a chance to win that over.
All right, cool. Look forward to seeing the young kid.
What's that?
I said I look forward to seeing the younger kids. I think that's the way that Birds are trying to go. I know they have I don't know if it's compensatory picks are still waiting on or whatnot, but over the next 2 drafts, what do they have? 20 some picks or something like that.
Think about those are great opportunities for the Eagles to trade as well, knowing that you have a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
We're looking at next year. If you think of those rounds, we're getting those comp picks. The Eagles are ready to trade those picks next year.
Right.
So our own picks next year. So I really feel like we're in a good spot, man. I really feel like, when people start feeling like, like you can't breathe, you're like, well, what are we gonna do? It's
right.
We're going to the draft, and we're gonna go shopping.
Yes,
and we're not breaking the bank here. We're gonna be smart, stick to our guns, but we also have trade capital too.
Right.
Do you think Okay. What is it? Hunt, right? That's the defensive end on the side with the contract. I kind of see them holding on to him, seeing how these other edge rushers they kind of brought in
You talk about
working
Jalen?
out, and then if they work out, maybe trying to deal him out. What do you think about that?
Jalen Hunt?
Yes. Yeah. On the defensive side.
I mean, he's on a rookie deal, so it's like we're talking about cheap help, man.
Right.
Third round. But I think he's a perfect, he was down at the Senior Bowl. One of my good buddies we were just sitting there watching him. It was like, this kid right here, Jalen Hunt, former wide receiver, former safety, and like now that is playing edge. And everyone was just like, he became the talk of the town after a couple practices. Wingspan had the longest wingspan of a lot of the prospects out there. And it's funny how that wingspan showed up when Joe Thuney had some of the shortest arms for a tackle, let alone guard.
Right.
And you saw those long arms. He couldn't get his hands on them. I think Jalen Hunt is he's a perfect opportunity to have to ball on a budget when you have him playing for what he's playing for. Very cerebral guy, though. Watch his interview recently. He did a recent interview on YouTube with I forget his name, but it was a really great interview. Very just to hear him talk about Fangio, and he fits right in the mix. He's a smart dude. I mean, I'm trying to think. He transferred from he was playing in the Ivy Leagues though.
Okay. Awesome.
Foods, did you have something? I saw you.
I was going to ask Gayle just about the whole tight end situation. Like, do you think Dallas Goedert will possibly be traded between now and draft day?
Yeah, that move? We were talking about that move last year. We had one big question going into last year's season was, will this be the last year of Dallas Goedert? And here we are. And this is something that we if you follow what Howie does, look at the money. Any player on this contract who doesn't have guaranteed money, you either take a salary cut, or they trade you or release you. I mean, it's just a part where it's part of the game. I do think I don't want to see him leave, even though I feel like he was a big part of that playoff push. The stiff arm was nice.
Yes, sir.
It's funny because Dallas Goedert is a guy who I picked the Eagles to draft coming out of college. People were like, the South Dakota kid. I'm like, yes.
Now, the Eagles have a habit of holding on to tight ends. Going back to Brent Selleck, Ertz. We didn't. I don't think we held on to him as long as we could have. But Dallas Goedert, I think for the right price, I would like to keep him. But obviously, he's a strategic move that you could just like a chess move. He's that piece that you can move over and capitalize with it.
He can play.
Unfortunately,
he can move. He can be a move tight end. He's got versatility. If you look at Evan Ingram, just his contract, 2 years, like 20, it averages out to 11.5. So if Goddard's at 12 something, I think he's 15 mil in cash, but like his cap hit is around 12 mil.
Right.
Goddard's like, I'm worth more than Evan Ingram.
So,
right. Well, they just recently brought in Harrison Bryant from the Browns and Kalen Grayson from the Colts. So it's like they're prepping almost for his departure.
Right.
And,
to make that move and send him elsewhere.
I was at the Senior Bowl this year again, which is, I love it down there. If you guys ever get a chance to go down there, it's a great opportunity to see all the.
I'll watch some of your videos.
So I was hanging out by the tight ends. I was looking at Harold Fannin Jr. from Bowling Green, our QB coach. It was his head coach down at Bowling Green. He's super productive, very you can move him around. You can get some yak. Jason Taylor's son, Mason Taylor from LSU. He's a guy that steady Eddie for LSU, definitely third to second, probably go in the second round. Gunnar Helm from Texas, another big tight end. And then, as much as people were saying the Warren kid from Penn State, and we're not drafting more. He's out of our range.
So there's no chance of Abdul Carr becoming an Eagle.
No.
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 Even if we line up all these 20 picks and moved it.
I've been hearing Abdul Carter and Warren for a whole damn year. I was like, anyone who brought it, I was like, no.
Yeah,
no,
never a chance. But
you've been moving, no.
It's a good person to dream about having. But
there's a guy named Elijah Arroyo, a tight end from Miami, who also had a great Senior Bowl week. He's a guy that he was just maybe a Zach Ertz type.
Okay.
Really, I mean, this is the tight end draft. This is go get yourself a tight end. Stop playing around. If you need a tight end in the second round to be impactful,
right.
This is the draft to do it. There's no other if you need defensive line, interior edge, this is the draft. And if you don't think Howie in the front office is ahead of the curve, and we didn't think that it was going to be a defensive line heavy draft, and you just let Milton Williams and Josh Sweat out the building, you don't think they knew that? Right. They're playing chess.
Yeah, they're playing the long game for sure.
Yes, they are.
Out of all the departures this season, which one were there any head scratchers for you?
Not really. I thought all of them were gone.
How about Isaiah Rodgers,
including CJGJ? You thought he was out of here?
That move was left field, but when it comes down to what I've heard,
money
about he wanted to get paid,
yeah.
And some of the guys, he said this is what I heard from a friend of mine, a friend of a friend was on the set of his music video, and basically he was mentioning how it was just like after seeing Saquon get paid early, all those other players are like, all right, well, I want to get paid early, and Howie's like, no, well, that's not gonna happen. We're gonna move. If you want to get paid on another team, we can ship you out of here. But like if Howie thought it was going to be an issue, I mean, we're talking about his fifth. And I can show you my list of my draft notes.
Mm-hmm.
He's been one of my favorites since he was at Florida. Like he was on my list with AJ Brown. Like it's on my notes in here somewhere, but. We're talking 15 in his career. He's on his 15, counting us twice.
Right.
On his 15. Why, as much as I love him, I love his heart and soul, but
definitely.
Why
attitude, character, and things kind of creep back into the back of your mind. I mean, I loved him. I don't know any of that, but I loved him as a player. The 2 years that he was here, we went to Super Bowls. And the second year he was here, we happened to win one. And I love the presence that he brought to our defense, just the attitude that he added. You know what I mean? So,
that's great.
Yeah, I was a little shocked when they let him go, or they, whatever happened, they traded him, or specifics. But yeah, I was a little shocked. I was a little upset, but not like I kind of understood it, but not. At the same time, didn't really. So,
I mean, you could either sit here and, I mean, the fact that he bought a house out here should tell you that he didn't really see that coming. But I think I have a thing on my desk that says, I look at it every day. It says, know your worth. I read that every day. So any player that knows that his worth, he feels a certain way about what he's worth, and if he can't get that from here, he's like, he wants to get paid.
Absolutely. I'm going to go get it where I can. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the window in the NFL for any player is so small,
But
right? So you got to
actually giving
get
him
when
that
you can
money,
get
too?
it.
Like he was like, you're talking about a guy who's early 20s and he can't get a multi-year deal. It's how long did it take?
Right.
Or-
Yeah. That's
So
true.
now
True.
he's like, I want to get paid one more time. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like
Send
you said,
somebody. Yeah.
the 5 teams is kind of a tell that there's there's something going on there. Sometimes I guess the squeaky wheel doesn't always get the grease.
I don't like the gossip. I've heard things, and I just always like, I don't never want to speak negatively of a player or whatever
Right.
they're going through or something, whatever case is. I just know that if he felt like he knew his worth and he wanted to get it somewhere else. And like he said, that his conversation with Howie was a great conversation. So I'm sure it wasn't on bad
And
terms.
he even stated that he knew it was business, and they got to pay these younger kids, and they got to, that was his response. I know it's a business, and they got to pay these younger kids, and blah blah blah. So I mean, that was a good response from him. I know he probably internally he might be a little upset with the move, but at least he didn't voice that out
Like
loud.
he did last time on his way out the door.
Right? Yes, where he kind of told us all to kiss his ass, basically.
Yeah, like I was so just like, really, dude. And there's a reason. Like I had CJ coming out of college as a potential first round talent.
Right.
Like he's on my list. Like I only had 10 guys on that list. He's on there. Why did he drop to the 5th round?
Right.
I mean, why is he on his 5th team?
Yep.
Why has the team not given him long-term money until we gave him some little generational? Like why? Like there's it is what it is, and it's tough to be like, because you can feel the heart and soul when you go to games during the timeouts. You look to CJ and he's like on the jumbotron, just getting the fans crazy.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
You saw him speak in front of the team right before the Super Bowl. Like, man, it didn't have to say too many words, but I felt it. Like as a fan, I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, bro, I'm ready to knock someone out. Like some players
start getting chills. Yeah. Where's my helmet? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I say it's in the eyes, man, because he's always just like he's chirping. He's chirping at every practice.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I definitely feel he excelled the defense. We'll see what who the next person who's going to step up and bring that dominant force, that dominant, like I'm willing to stick my neck out there and smack somebody. CJ was that guy. He was willing to. Hey, dude, I'm willing to whack this guy. So we need to find out who the next guy is.
I go back to that comment by Slay, and he was talking about who's going to be the leader of that group, and talked about Reed Blankenship being on the leadership council, and he didn't mention like CJ, and he felt a certain way, and he was just saying that he's on the leadership council. But the fact is, so when someone put out a tweet that I think Slay had retweeted, but it was like, if you think the Eagles would trade away their defensive leader? And I was like, damn.
Yes, I did see that. Yeah, I saw that tweet as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Well, look, my brother. I know you're going on 3 hours with us. I thank you so much for coming on and giving us some of your time here. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, I love what you guys are doing, man. Keep on moving. Keep on talking birds. And anytime you need me out, I'm here.
Right.
I do this, man.
So yeah.
I know. We appreciate it. Gayle Saunders, ladies and gentlemen. 4th and Jawn. Gayle, real quick, where can everybody find you guys at?
You find us all at 4th and Jawn, on all social. You can find me on Twitter at Eagle Sessions. I got to get my Twitter game back up. I've been AWOL from Twitter. There's a lot of crazies on Twitter.
Well, it's like X now, or Twitter X and whatever. You're all good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Gayle Saunders _. And then if you see any posts on socials, Fourth and Jawn, that's me behind there. So
All
if you
right.
got some you want to talk about or promote, just give me a shout in the DMs and we'll get to it.
You got it, my man. Gayle,
All right.
thank you so much, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
night,
man.
man. Go Birds. 2-time champs.
2-time champs. Let's go.
Got to throw that out there. So, for
Got a
the
lot of
last
exciting whites. Let's go.
for the last X them up, Alan. You remember that back in the
Right.
day? I know.
Dude, I still do that whenever I see a FedEx truck. Now that I'm a UPS guy, I throw the X up. I'm like, boom.
You remember where that? You remember who started that?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Love that little bastard.
Crazy times, dude. Crazy times. We won't get into that. That's for a different show. This is PG. We can't take it to that.
That's for the after show. We'll talk about that later.
So, do you guys still? And Fuj, I'll kick this one to you. Do you still trust Howie like completely? Like whatever he does in this offseason, are you just like, look, I trust this guy until it proves to be not a good move? Or are you just all in on the Howie Roseman train?
I still have faith in Howie.
I'm not saying that you wouldn't. I'm just saying there's been a lot of moves. People are like, wow, noticing a lot of big name players on defense going.
It's going to come down to the draft because, like Gayle said, more than likely Dallas Goedert is going to be traded, and it's just it's the downfall about winning the Super Bowl. I mean, your coaches get taken, your players are over. Day one, everybody's overpaid.
Yep.
Somebody made a good point this morning. I don't know if it was on Jacob Media, but I think it was Krause and can't think of his first name, John McMillan, and somebody made a good point to where they, like Milton Williams really owes a lot of money to Jalen Carter, just being a battering ram on that line.
That's true. That is a good point.
Jalen Carter will eventually get paid, but that's a contract coming down probably next year, right? Because he's still on that rookie deal.
I have a feeling Howie that he'll be one of the ones Howie gets to early.
Yeah,
I would like to think.
Yeah, I mean,
somebody said that Jalen Carter could at least get $50 million. I mean, after Myles Garrett just got 40.
I would not. I wouldn't bat an eye at $50 million for that kid.
No,
he is a game wrecker every play.
Yep.
Every play, he has the potential to wreck.
I mean, this season alone, he played what 80% of the snaps.
Just crazy,
something like that. Something like that. I mean, you can Google check me, but I mean, something like that. Like it was, the kid never came off the field.
You check me on the Google face.
I mean,
check me, like but kid never came off the field. The kid played, and if he can. I mean, I know it's hard, for a guy that size in that position to continue at that pace that he was at this past year. But if he can even continue half of that pace for the rest of his career, this kid's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah,
you're going to be double teamed every time, and then it doesn't matter who you put around him. Just put somewhat talented people around him.
Same thing with Fletcher Cox getting double teamed and still making an impact on the game like he did.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You open up that whole front four, right? Right.
That's what won you the Super Bowl, period. That won you the Super. Your front four won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Period.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's where the Birds are going to go heavy in the draft. Like we were talking about earlier, I'm worried about Dallas Goedert getting traded, but if it happens, it happens. It is what it is.
So just to touch on what you're saying here, my initial reaction, as it flashes through my head, Dallas Goedert, and then I start to think back about how many times he wasn't available.
Yes.
How many now on this playoff push? Gayle was correct. He was a huge. It felt like he was a huge part of this playoff push. Like you said, the triple stiff arm in Green Bay.
Yes,
there was a lot of things that he did extremely well, and he did come up huge for us. But in the long run, move an injury around, then he might not have even been available for this playoff run.
Yep.
So, I think they're looking for maybe somebody a little bit more sturdy in that regard.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree with that.
Overall, I just think Goddard's been injury prone and just can't stay healthy. And,
Right.
As he gets older, approaching 30, the body's just going to break down and it stop. I'm kind of surprised the Eagles didn't go out and get a tight end the last couple of years.
Right.
I don't know about last year, but the year before was a big tight end class.
Right.
Yeah. Not like I said, they signed one today and they signed one last week.
Right.
So and
They still
I
got Guy Katara and
Greg Calcaterra, yeah.
There we go. Yes. Yeah.
And I honestly think they're more depth pieces and training camp type pieces, and I do believe they're going to draft a tight end.
Teams.
Yeah, like some of these guys might not even be around start of the season. Wise.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't foresee like the one guy, Harrison Bryant. He's a tight end and a long snapper for. I think he played 10 seasons in Cleveland, something like that.
Oh God.
Man,
he's
was with the Raiders at first.
Yeah, he's got some miles on him. So
some shitty teams. Yeah.
You know what's funny? Get a little off topic. It's fine. Sit here and think how lucky. Think about the 96-7 Eagles. You can think about the Eagles back in the mid '80s too, and what you're in now is football heaven.
Yes,
it really is football heaven. The last, we'll say the last 8 years of Eagles football, and even before that, even the last 20 years.
Yeah,
they're with the exception of a couple of kind of off track seasons, they've been competitive for the last 25 years, maybe.
Absolutely.
And to be able to sit here and talk about, you have 4 players on this team that are 2-time Super Bowl champions. I posted the video the other day. I don't know if you guys caught it I don't post much on my Facebook. I posted the video of them putting the second Lombardi in the trophy case.
Oh.
And
nice.
It was just watching it happen. I'm like, I can't believe there's 1 in there, let alone 2. Now I know some teams have 5, some teams have 6, some teams in our division have 5 and 4 and 3, and we only.
And
have
there's a
2.
whole lot of teams out there with no.
Well, we're the only division in football which every team has more than 1 Super Bowl.
Yep.
The only division.
The only division. The black and blue division. That's the way I remember it.
Yeah,
the black and blue division. When you came and played this team or any team in this division, whether you were better than us or better than you know what I'm talking about. Not just the Eagles, the whole division. Whether you were better than one of these teams in this division, whether you won or lost, you remember that you played someone from the NFC East. You know what I mean? We were the black and blue division. We used to beat you up and tear you down, and that's just what it was, man.
Washington's going to be scary this year.
They are.
The moves that they're making, with the money that they have.
Yep.
They were knocking on the door last year. Yep. I even go far as to say, unless the Eagles blow my skirt up with draft, I could predict that the Eagles are the wild card coming out of the NFC East next year. If just with how and it's not because I live with a Commanders fan. It's not because I co-own an entertainment company with a Commanders fan. It's watching what they're doing. They have the means and they have the ability, and they're looking scary.
Do you believe Jaden Daniels can continue that arc that he was on?
I have no reason to suspect that he wouldn't. Now,
Correct.
is there the sophomore slump? There's an entire
There's
season
all
worth
these,
of tape
yes.
on you, and he played many more games than a lot of other quarterbacks because he
Yep.
went to the NFC Championship game. So
Yep.
there's a lot of
Question
tape
mark,
on him.
but-
There's a lot of tape on him, but
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why he shouldn't play the way he did last season. I don't know what the Cowboys are going to be this year. Everybody laughs, but will they go right back to that 12-win team that from a couple of years ago and
out
a
of
couple of
nowhere
years before that?
Right? Yeah.
And then so this division could get much more competitive next year. I mean, the Giants are the Giants. Nobody expects them to do anything.
Well, now, you were talking about the division, and us being the only division with everyone winning a Super Bowl or multiple Super Bowls. But aren't we the same division where no one has actually won it back to back in like 20 years or something like that? It's always been somewhat like
you mean the division winner?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's been quite a while. I think it was the last time that a team won it back to back, and that was back in like the early 2000s.
Yeah. 2001, 2, and 2 maybe.
They won it 4 years in a row, right? Didn't they win the division 4 years in a row?
Something like
Or
that.
no, maybe not. 3 years in a row.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah,
were they a wild card team in 2000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google face. Where's it at?
That's the Google face. But
Yeah, because the Giants lost to the Ravens in the Super Bowl that year.
yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yep.
So do you think there's going to be any more big moves prior to the draft, or do you think we're just kind of hunkered down until April?
Good, Fuge.
With Howie, one never knows.
That's a good answer. It's a good. I do like how Howie keeps everybody on their toes. He's a fun GM because you're not really sure. And whenever you think you got the guy pegged, he goes and does something that's like, well, where did that come from?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I think they might hang tight. Wait for the draft, and then what's that cutoff so they don't lose those compensatory picks like May 16th or something like that.
Sure.
And then I think they make some splashes. So that way they hold on to those things. That way they can trade them, piece them if they need to into doing whatever they need to do. If I could be a fly on the wall in Harry's Roseman's office for a day, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I would do. I'd kind of wait for the draft to play out, wait for that that window to close, and then go from there and go wild.
All right, boys. As currently constructed right now, and Fuj, I'm going to start with you. What position right now do you feel is the biggest position of need on the team? Right now, up until like this very second, with all the moves that have been made up until now and everything like that.
I would say defensive end or defensive tackle.
Alan, what are your thoughts?
I
was kind of in lock and step with Fuj. That's why I don't have it. I'm just like, all right, let me jump to Alan.
Yeah, no worries. No, I would definitely go. They've made a lot of moves on the edge. Defensive tackle is definitely an issue, which I think they can get through the draft. The move from CJ and opening up that safety spot, concerns me a little bit. I think Reed can step into that role, but that's another concern of mine. That maybe I don't know if you can draft someone or if you can get somebody in, free agency. But yeah, the defensive tackle, I think is the biggest the biggest spot of need right now.
Okay. That was I D tackle was probably, if I had to break it down,
Yeah.
with the moves that are made, what's left, D tackle is probably my biggest worry, just to get some depth in there.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Because that was our strength this past year, where we had rotational players and we could, roll guys in, roll guys out. Not that there's a few guys that didn't roll out as much as you expected, but I think our depth this past year helped us. So if we can solidify that somehow, I think that would definitely help.
Excellent. That's what I was thinking too. I like it when I'm right, or at least I sound like I'm right. That's a good thing. Well, look, everybody, that's probably going to do it for us tonight. Guys, hang on after the show because I want to ask you guys a question, and we'll get Norm to jump into the lobby afterwards as well. But for my man, Alan Andrikavich, for Mike Fucci, for Willie Guns, who is at his mother-in-law's birthday party. Happy birthday
to
Willie Guns' mother-in-law. His mom there. So for the fellows and myself, I'm Tom Kelly. It's Pattison Ave Phanatics Show. We're out of here.
Fuji's got stories to make your night with Alan, stay sharp as a knife.